Hey, Riding Side Saddle, it's Tammy.
And it's Lisa.
And we have a guest, a new one.
A hot and throaty guest.
Throaty. Now the pressure's on.
This is our friend Laurie.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi,
there.
thanks for joining us. This was a spur of the moment thing, so, we kind of captured her, and now she's...
We wrangled her right in.
Yeah, she might be regretful in a minute, but she's here for now.
You notice how I jumped to no. No.
Interestingly, we didn't actually wrangle her in too far because Laurie was actually the part of the group who started, we started talking about riding side saddle with Laurie.
We did.
And one more person as a group of 4 people.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about
wasn't
that.
all that out that far.
No. I was thinking about that on the way here. So I met Laurie at your house, Lisa.
Yeah.
Laurie and her husband have a little music band. Is that band? I don't know if it's a band, a duet.
Yeah.
And you had them here for a party that you had, and they were the entertainment.
Yeah.
So that's how I met Laurie.
Yeah.
And after the entertainment, we were all sitting around the fire
And that's when the
talking
entertainment
about it.
started.
For real. That was such a fun night. Such a fun night. But up until then, Lisa and I joked about how we should have our own show. We should be on the radio.
Right.
And then when we started talking about it, again, as a joke with you around the fire, it turned into a plan.
Yeah.
So maybe we would have got there on our own, Lisa, but I'm not sure. I feel like Laurie was really the push we needed to, let's do this. Let's make this a thing.
I don't disagree.
Well, thanks, ladies. But for me, I think that night I was so excited about it and the time commitment I couldn't do. I knew I couldn't at that time.
For sure.
Right.
But I do feel jealous every time I listen.
Do you?
I do. Oh, I know.
You are welcome to join us anytime.
Anytime.
Absolutely, anytime.
They're just so much fun. It's happening.
Manifestation.
time.
Yes.
It's
Now I have
manifestation. Well, girl, maybe
Yeah,
we
you are
need to
newly retired.
reevaluate then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right.
Look at
I
that.
love it. I
we
love
have
it.
you on recording.
Right. You said it. Right.
I love it.
Well-
So today, we all met up earlier because we were doing a vision board.
Yeah.
Deidre had organized this event through the yoga studio that she teaches at, and I didn't know Laurie was going to be there. So I walked in, I was late, and I come in and there's Laurie. I was so excited. And Marcy was there, but I knew she was going to be there. I was already excited, and I knew you would be there. And then there's Laurie, who I haven't seen in way too long.
It has been a long time.
Yeah. So then I was even more excited.
It was just such a really good day. I
was.
absolutely loved that event.
Yeah, me too.
It's so interesting how things happen, right? Because, I'm, of course, Deidre's biggest cheerleader. And whenever she has something going, I do try to get people
Do a
to
little
do
marketing
it.
for her.
Yeah. And Laurie was, aside from you, Tammy, because I wrangled you in the recording last time, but Laurie was one of the first people I reached out to because of some of the conversations that we've been having about just turning a new leaf. And this is the beginning of, a different season in my life, and I'm ready. And I'm like, Laurie,
You need to be at this.
right?
Yeah. Put some intention behind those words.
Right.
And it was just, I'm sorry, it was just so interesting because, so at the end of the day, everybody shared, and there was 10 people.
Yeah.
Something like that. And in that moment, it made me realize how incredibly important that was for each person individually.
It was.
And it just brought tears to my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It was really amazing.
It was amazing. The sharing part, when Deidre first said, well, it's almost time for us to share, because I was late. I didn't get the agenda right at the beginning of the
so
class.
that was a surprise to you.
Yeah, and I was what? We're doing what? I haven't glued any of my, the vision board is where you cut things out of of magazines and things like that, whether they're words or pictures or what have you, things that just jump out at you. I had cut out tons of stuff, so much so that I don't think it will all fit on my poster board, but I hadn't glued a single one. So that's why I was panicking, like, oh my gosh. And once again, doing something creative in public, and I see people with their glue sticks, and here I am just, looking through magazines. So it caused me to panic for a moment.
Isn't it interesting that even in an environment like that, where people are there for the same purpose, everyone is safe and comfortable, and yet we still feel that.
Yes.
Like, am I going to say the wrong thing?
Right.
Am I going to look weird? Or
what am I going to say?
Right.
Now I have to prepare
Do
something
I even
to say.
really know what I'm what I'm putting down here?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There is something.
Yeah. And really, I wasn't sure I was going to say anything. I was the last person. We went around we sat in a circle. So Deidre started. She was to my left. So I was the last person in the circle. And Deidre kept saying, you don't have to share if you don't want to. And okay, great. There's my out.
Right.
Until everybody in the whole thing shared. Now I have to say something.
I know.
I can't
What are
be
you going
that
to do? Like,
person.
nope, I'm not going to talk.
Right. Thanks, everybody, for bearing your soul, but I'm not going to show you a galldarn piece of mine.
Well, and isn't it something, normally you can't shut me up, but then when it comes to something like that, when they want you to say something, it's like,
Right.
So interesting.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I totally cut to the end of the event.
That's all right.
To talk about it, but it just was very moving to me.
It was.
That for each individual reason, right, people walked away with exactly probably what they needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's really true.
Well, and what we were saying before we started here, that the difference between creating a vision for yourself and thinking of a resolution. I'm not downing New Year's resolutions. I've done them forever.
Right.
But I find that when I do that, there's a pressure with a resolution, and there's a feeling to me already of the fear of failure when I set it up like that.
Yes,
I agree.
For so long, that's the kind of thing I would do. Like set it up, and it was always about, what you weigh or what you is always surrounded.
Self-improvement in some sort of way.
Right.
Let me list all of the problems that I want to fix about myself.
Right.
Yes.
That.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
So right before New Year's, Marcy had sent us a quote, and I found it really interesting as well. It speaks to what you're talking about. Every year you make a resolution to change yourself. This year, make a resolution to be yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you've been talking about as, just as where you're at with your life. Like there's some things that I have done to myself, right? My self-inflicted feelings about me, behaviors that I've had, and I'm done doing that.
Right.
This is time.
Right.
Maybe I'm not actually broken.
Right.
Maybe what I need to do is just accept who I am.
Right.
This isn't like, I could maybe pick up my socks instead of throwing them on the floor. I'll put them in the hamper. Right. Little habits. Like, I don't feel like that's broken.
Right.
But maybe I'd like to be a little neater in the new year. Right. Like that doesn't feel like fixing myself.
Right.
But when it's I need to lose weight, I need to exercise more. It's always things like that I struggle with. Maybe I'm just okay the way I am.
Right. And ultimately, I think when we set those, we think we're doing it with good intention.
Yeah.
But, and we'll be like, well, I just want to be healthy. Okay. That's true. But really, is that why we're saying that to ourselves?
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to do that, and I want it to be for real.
Right.
Like,
what is your why about it?
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yes.
And I thought about that so much because the what is your why? We'll go to Jess, right? And that's such an important question. And I think for me, when I thought about this vision board or whatever, my why, again, is trying to finally love yourself as much as other people love you.
Yeah.
Like, I have lived a life at 56. I feel very loved. I do.
You are.
But I do feel the love from people all the time. And yet I can't find it from myself.
Ooh,
and
that's a big one.
It is a big one. It's like at some point, I I think people will look at me and say, oh, she's so confident, or she really, you know, and it's like, no, that's
it's not coming from the inside.
That's not truthful.
It's interesting. I was thinking about that specifically because I remember saying those things to you, like it new in our relationship, right? When we were like learning about one another as friends, I remember talking to you and saying like how confident and you know, the role that you play in your music and how you engage people. And I was thinking about it, and those are amazing, wonderful things. But you have, every time I've talked about it, you've said that's a mask. That's not the real me.
Right.
Is it kind of like someone who's super, super funny, but they're unbelievably depressed?
Oh,
is it like that?
For sure. I'm sure it could be. It's like, and you know, even the humor part of it, I am funny. It's quick. You know, I don't mean that in arrogance. It's just things quickly come out of me.
Right.
But it's a lot of times that's nerviousness. You know, like I'm in that moment and it's just like, whoa, you know, sometimes it's incredibly inappropriate.
Which makes it even more funny.
Yeah. And you know, while there are things, I think the difference between saying with confidence, I think I push myself past those fears.
Yeah.
So I do it in spite of feeling those ways.
Yeah.
So even though I'm feeling on the inside not that sense of confidence or you know, the fear, I'll do it anyway.
That feels very powerful, though. You're not letting your own insecurities stand in your way of living your best life. I am going to be who I am, even if I'm not feeling it today. I actually am that person.
Right.
And maybe I don't feel like I am, but I am, and I'm going to push through the things that won't let me be that.
Right. It's more the quiet times that I'm... You know, when you're laying there,
start.
when the gremlins, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
getting in your own head before you're going to go somewhere, you know, before you're going to do it. Once I'm there, once I'm in the situation,
you're fine.
Game on, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Let it happen.
Right.
It's so interesting. I don't know, but you know, so this year with that vision, with the vision board, or even the thought of what brought me to that. You know, do you want me to share that a little bit about
absolutely.
Where that came from?
I would love that.
Oh, right. Well,
well, here we go.
Let's make it.
And she's off.
Yikes. Well, and I really never have had a problem disclosing my feelings, you know, about myself.
Yeah.
I share that.
You're pretty authentic.
You are very authentic.
I don't, you know, I think if it can help someone else, unfortunately, my words can help. I mean, not unfortunate that can help people, but I don't take my own advice.
Yeah.
So that can be hard. But I, as I told you both today and Lisa earlier, I had been reading through some old journals, and probably 20 years of them. I don't journal every day, but I have over the years. And as I was reading these things, I just kept going back to, oh my God, you never are good to yourself.
Oh, you saw a theme.
Oh, it was over and over and over again, was all of these things that were just like picking at what I'm not.
Yeah.
There were very few pages that had anything that was celebrating me.
Yeah.
It was, you know, I could write things about other people or, you know, but whenever it was centered around the way that I was feeling or what I wanted to change. It was always about changing and fixing and wanting, you know, you're going to do this time. You're really going to follow through with this. And it was like, oh my gosh, I was just setting the stage for continual self-sabotage because everything is always just heavy. It's like, oh my gosh, how can one person live up to that?
You never measure up to
Never.
yourself.
To never. I can't get there.
Do you think that you were attracted to journaling during the times when you felt that, you know, you needed to fix or change or do something
You were
differently?
struggling with something.
Yeah. Or did you journal? Like, I'm trying to figure out what came first, the chicken or the egg. Do you think that you navigate to journaling to work that out? Or do you think that it just comes through?
Like your gremlins come out in journaling.
Yeah, because you journal all the time Do you know what I'm trying to ask?
And I think it's kind of both. I would probably say that it would be start out with a mission in mind.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I'm the journaling could be New Year's, or it could be my birthday's coming or something, and I'm really going to do this. You know, and this is what I need.
This is
to,
the year.
This
I'm
is
going
it.
to,
Yes.
get on my bike
and a lot
every
of times,
day.
oh, for sure. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times those journals at those times were around what a scale said or what my measurements were, or it's like, oh my God, how many times can you do this to yourself?
Right.
And I think when you keep setting yourself up that way, and there were never times where I would point out what was good.
Yeah.
What was I doing right?
Wow. So I think that actually is something really important. My husband loves to complain, and there have been loads of times where I've said, so you've been for 45 minutes now telling me everything that's been wrong. I need you to say 5 good things, because I can't, this is too much.
Yeah.
It's too heavy. This isn't just a problem that you're trying to talk through like every irritant all day long. When that's where your focus is, you never let the good out.
You aren't going to find it.
Right.
You can change the good into something negative. That's
exactly
your focal point.
Right. And it like it stops him. And so I can see he's irritated when I do it. But like stepping back from, you know how it is, you can see other people more clearly, right?
Yeah.
You are hurting yourself.
Yes.
Like literally torturing yourself with all of this negativity.
Torture.
You have got to start looking at some good stuff. I'm not talking about toxic positivity.
Right.
I understand that things are irritating sometimes and people are annoying and, life happens and stress, and I get all of that. I'm not saying to then just stamp a great big old rainbow over the top of all of that, right? But you can't only focus on that.
Right.
You have to let room for some of the good stuff too. So when you're in that space, when you're journaling and it's just one negative thing after another, maybe being aware and saying, I'm going to end this journal with 3 good things.
Right.
My husband loves me.
Right.
I have a warm house to sleep in.
Yes. Right.
Even if it's something basic, like
The
I had food to
is
eat
on,
today.
And there were times that I would do that, but it was always there was already so much negative that it was like, oh my gosh,
it was cheap. It
cheapened
it.
Yes, it was almost like
great.
okay, I'm setting this up now. I'm just going to say nice things.
Right.
But and I think for me, a change of thinking. And when I say this, I'm certainly not there yet. Burning.
That's all right. We say things and we're not there all the time.
Right. And I,
like
sometimes
every time.
Right.
So say it, girl.
Yes.
Say it.
And when you tell people things or you have these conversations about, I wish I was there, and I'm like, oh wait, did you think I was there?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not telling you what to do because I do it. I'm just telling you what you should do.
I'm just working it out here.
Right. I'm talking to myself right now.
Yeah,
I'm having
exactly.
this conversation.
For sure.
But I have been in preparation of the burning.
Yeah.
Because we are going to, the 3 of us, in another week. We're going to burn all of those journals. I
can't wait.
Right.
too.
And it's not for me about, again, saying that the past is not real or it isn't any of that. It's just to change your mindset of focus on, I want to start looking at me through someone else's lens until that's finally what I see.
Yes.
I had an experience at one of our music things recently playing, and it was just the most beautiful thing. And really, I keep looking for these moments to remind myself about being loved and remember these things of how important, not beating yourself up for the physical. There's a lady that comes to see us play, and she's, I'm not sure how old, I'm guessing 80s.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. And one other time when we played in the summer, she was there and she's saying, I just came here to hug you.
Oh.
Right? Isn't that beautiful? Well, we were playing a couple of weeks ago, and the place was packed. And
Is this in Cedarburg?
yeah.
I think I met her.
And she, well, I don't know, maybe. Oh,
I
no,
think
I think
she
this
was
is a
there. She
different, no,
wasn't?
this is
Oh,
a different
different one.
Yes.
There
I
was
think
a
I know.
sparky
Yes,
lady
yes,
there
yes,
at
yes.
that
No,
window.
no, this is
Okay,
somebody.
all right.
But
Okay.
anyway, I didn't even know she was there. And she pushed herself through the crowd. And she got right in front of me. And I was singing at the time, singing. And she just watched me and let me finish. And I reached out and I was holding her hand. And I finished the song and then I knew she wanted that hug, right? And I just wrapped her up. And I was so happy to see her. And those are the moments when you're realizing, like, you matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, your presence matters. The way that you treat people matters.
100%.
The joy that you bring matters. The laughter, the all of those things. No one cares
Right.
except you
Right.
About all your
about
air
all
quotes,
of those
failings.
yes,
Right.
or
Yeah.
all of those imperfections, the things
Yes.
that you stare at that say, "Oh, this isn't right, that isn't right." Come on,
And it's because that's not why you're here.
right?
Right.
Yes,
Right? You're here to fill this woman so full of joy that she will, muscle her way to a crowded room at 80 something
Yes.
to stand in front of you and feel that joy.
Right,
And wait for the hug.
right.
And vice versa, right? You
Yes.
saw her.
Oh my gosh.
And that
it lit
same
me up.
thing
Right.
happened.
For sure.
Yes. We played at a senior living and this lady said, you said to us you were having so much fun today. And I believed it. I said, I was.
'Cause I was.
And she's like,
Wasn't it live?
She goes, we were having fun. And I just really felt that you really were too. And I'm like, oh, but and it's just about, I think all of us need to start doing that more often. Like,
What matters here?
what matters?
Right.
Think about when your grandchildren look at you.
Oh.
Do you think they care for 1 minute what size your pants are?
No.
Although my
No.
middle grandson did
They
tell
might
me once
mention,
I have
Actually.
Gigi, you have a really big butt.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
I
One of
know.
my best attributes. Thank you.
I always laugh
Thanks
and
for
say,
noticing.
right? I'm always like, well, who wants a skinny grandma? It's too bony. No offense, anyone, if you're out there. I'm just making
Right.
myself feel better.
Right.
But it's like, you got to have some cushion.
That's it. That's
Grab
it.
on, baby. You jump on him. Don't he soft.
Right. Right. Right.
Oh, gosh.
I just saw something too. I don't know. I'm sure profound on Facebook. But anyway,
Right.
it was a quote though that really made sense, and it was someone. I don't know if someone said it or I read it, but it was, "Your weight is the least interesting thing about you."
Yeah.
That.
Very true.
Yes.
There's
that
so much
is
more
very true.
about you
Yep.
than that,
Yep.
and it's eye opening, because how many times do we even do that to people? You see them, and what do we comment on?
Oh, you look fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are.
I've done that.
I know, me
too
too.
many times,
Me
and
too.
I catch myself doing it. It's already out there.
I
It's
know.
already left my mouth, so I
I
can't pull
know.
it back. And I mean it as a compliment.
Right, I know.
But it's a backhanded compliment,
Yes.
isn't it? Even though I don't mean it that
I don't
way.
ever feel that way.
You don't?
No. If somebody is looking good, I'm just going to tell them, you look fantastic. And
Yes.
it doesn't, like, if I said, holy shit, like, you really needed to lose that weight. Good for you. Right?
Yeah,
like,
that
that
would
would
be-
be
that'd be
terrible.
terrible.
But
Well,
if somebody
I
if somebody was just like,
Yeah.
you look really fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody just says that to me, that makes me feel like $1 million. It does not feel like a backhanded compliment.
I've noticed that I try to say things like, "You really look healthy. You look like you feel good."
Yeah.
Because for me, it's been such a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I'm so up and down all the time that when someone says it, the instant fear is, it's coming back. So, somebody be like, "Oh, you lost so much weight." And I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm going to find it." I always find it.
Right.
I feel like I need to explain it. And it because it is
Don't
a
be too excited for me.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, settle down. I'll ruin this.
Right.
Well, that's some of the shit that we're going to burn, girl.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, right. But that
exactly.
is like in your mind, like,
I do know what you mean. And that's why I feel bad. It isn't
Right.
because they look at me like that was mean.
Right.
Right? It's not that, because I can say to anybody,
Right.
you look
Yes.
fantastic, or I love your sweater,
Right.
or
Right.
that color looks great on you,
Yeah.
or, you know, things like that. They don't all feel like backhanded compliments.
No.
And recently someone did say to me, you look fantastic. She didn't say because you've lost some weight.
Right.
It was just fantastic, period, right?
Right.
And I received it as a compliment.
Yes.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I say it, it's probably my own projecting.
Sure.
Right? Because I haven't lost enough weight.
Right.
Or I hadn't lost weight at all, right? I've
Right.
just gained weight.
Yeah.
And then I see someone who has lost weight.
Yeah.
You look fantastic. And in my mind,
I wish I was there.
yes.
So it's the
Or I
stories
was
that
there
you're playing
before,
in
Yeah.
but
your
now
own
I'm back
head.
over here.
right. Right.
You know,
I get it.
Yeah.
Now
And then I
understand.
start
Yeah.
babbling. Not
Yeah.
that you haven't always looked fantastic. You just
Yeah.
look like, I mean, you know, clearly you're taking care of
I'll just
yourself
shut
better
up.
or different.
Right.
I know,
Right.
and I just,
Right.
now I can't stop, and everything
Now
I
I'm gonna
say
go home
makes
and
it
cry.
worse. Yes, right.
That's
right.
so interesting because you're responding to the story in your own head
Yes.
about you.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Maybe. I mean, we're
Yeah,
just talking this
absolutely.
through
Well,
right now. So
No, that is
maybe. Yeah.
absolutely it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were able to just be like,
I didn't mean to imply you looked terrible before.
and then,
I'm just saying
right.
nothing. Like I'm nothing.
Right.
I'm not
If you
saying
just
anything
say
anymore.
nothing.
Well,
Right.
Yeah.
it's that terrible 5-letter word, I think, shame,
Oh yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like we always feel
There's
like
a lot of judgment.
there's, yep,
Yes.
yep.
Guilt.
Yes.
And being a person that has to stand up in front of people all the
Oh, yeah.
time. You know, I'm always like, you know, because they notice. It's commented on.
Right.
A lot.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's not like you can hide weight loss or weight gain,
No.
really, right? You know,
Nope.
5 or 10 pounds maybe, but not when we're talking big
right.
losses and gains.
Right.
And you know, I'm human. I have eyes that work. I can
Right.
look at someone and think, "Wow, you've put on a lot of weight since I
Right.
saw you last." They're doing the same to me,
Right.
right? Because it's
Yeah.
because it is my physical shell. But I know that I am worth more than my weight,
Right.
and I know they are too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
immediately have to shut that down. But because I am human and flawed by design, I would be a liar if I said I never looked at someone and
Sure.
thought, putting on a little extra weight, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry for you. I never say that out loud, obviously,
Think
right?
about
But
a card one time that said, "Please God, if you can't make me skinny, make my friends fat."
This is the next best thing.
Right? I mean,
Right.
make everyone else around me fat so I feel better.
Right.
No,
Welcome
Right.
to menopause.
Right?
Right.
Amen.
and maybe that's it. Maybe it's because it is something that I look at every day and think, really, Tammy? Really?
Yeah.
You're still doing this? So when I see other people, I see a likeness.
Yeah.
Again, with the projecting.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And it's
Which
you
is
know,
terrible, to
and
your
but
point.
The reality is, you know, we all know what we look like, who we are. It's accepting some things. And I always want to backtrack because this is not me promoting being unhealthy or not
Right.
looking and setting goals to take care of
course not.
yourself,
No.
to exercise, to eat right. All of those things are super important. And I don't want to downplay that and be like, oh, you just forget about that and accept who you are. But you know what? I do those things, and I really want to believe for once in my life that I'm going to do them truly for health, truly for wellness, and not for physical appearance. The
So
physical
I can
appearance-
feel better about myself.
Correct.
I just want to feel better.
Yes, I want to sleep
Hard
better. You want to, all of it that goes along with it, live longer, whatever it may
Right.
be.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
as
Yeah.
you're reaching those years of, you know, getting a little closer to 60, I am than I was at 50 now.
Right, right.
So, you know, you get to
I
that
want to
point.
still be able to move my body when I
Yes.
want
Right.
to, how I want to,
Right.
Yes.
where I want to.
Yes.
I think that I hear you so much because those two things are very competing in my own mind.
Yep.
And what's very interesting, and I hate, is after I've lost the weight that I have, I was envisioning myself, my physical attributes to look differently than they do. And I'm realizing that if my motive initially was for true health and mobility and, you know, living a longer life, those things wouldn't really bother me all that much as they do.
Correct.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the extra skin underneath
Yes.
my neck, my arms that, you know, I've lost weight. My arms are smaller, but the skin is still like hanging there. And it just like, it's like, you know what did you do this for? Like, what was your intention up front? You said it was your intention to be healthy. And
But
to
now
live
you're
longer and
unhappy.
be
But
more-
you're still playing the game in your mind.
Yes.
So you
You're
were
still
unhappy
playing
with the way you looked before, and you're still unhappy now, even though you've met some, you know, goals that you had set for yourself. You're still unhappy with the way
I mean,
you
there's
look.
just different things now. My boobs are like, I mean,
Right.
that fat was in there and it was making them like
Right.
kind of perkier looking. I mean, they weren't perky, but perkier. Right. Now,
But when I look at all the different places I've been on this roller coaster,
yeah.
that's why this change has to happen. Because no matter what, no matter where I fell, when I think back, I was writing the same message to myself. So it didn't matter.
So it's the motive.
yeah,
it's
and
the
it's
motive.
and it's
Well, it's also the focus, though, right? The focus is on my appearance. When instead of it being on, I just want to be able to move. I want to be
Right.
healthier. I want to live a little
Right.
longer. I want to, you know, I don't know, not be on medication or whatever it is, right?
right,
The motive.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Why am I doing
Right,
this for
right.
real?
right,
And have that be your focus.
Yes.
Opposed to
Right.
because it's just, again, it's so easy. Your eyes see
correct.
everything. You
Correct.
walk past a mirror and you think, oh, still there.
Who's that?
That big old, you know,
yeah,
Right.
right, yeah,
junk in your trunk, still there. Even though you lost some weight, it's not what, again, the picture in my mind.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
look like I did when I was, 16.
know.
Not like I did
Right.
when I was smaller at 40.
Right.
yeah.
Or even when I'm smaller at 51.
Exactly.
Because 40's long gone.
Right.
That's what I was
Right.
getting
Yes.
at. Right.
Yes.
So the image in my head hasn't caught up with where I actually am in this body.
Yes.
Right?
Well, and that goes back to other topics you've talked about, being comfortable aging. When we talk about
Yes.
menopause, when you talk about these stages in your life, it's being comfortable.
Yes.
Where you are. And if you've lived a life where you've never been comfortable where you are, and all of a
Yes.
sudden you're like, oh, I can liberate myself a little bit maybe, and finally
That would
once
be
can I for
wonderful.
once be okay with where I am.
Right.
Doesn't
Right.
mean you don't set goals. Doesn't mean
Right,
you don't want to be
right.
healthy. Doesn't mean any
Right.
of that.
Right.
It just means, okay, here I am today,
Right.
sitting with two people I love.
Yep.
That's good.
Yes.
Right? That's a
Right.
beautiful day with great things, feeling loved, feeling, why
Yes.
does it matter?
That's so interesting. And I love that you use the word beautiful. So during my sharing, I said that I just want to make beautiful things all day, right? I've had a really stressful experience at work, and I just want to make beautiful things all day. And someone came up to me afterwards and talked to me about that particular. She said, I really love how you said, I just want to make beautiful things all day. And she went on to share a couple of things. And I think there's something key in there. And I don't know if I'm going to get the words together to really say what I'm feeling. Rather than noticing something good, rather than having again, like a definition, a beautiful, like you just said, here I am sitting with people I love. That's beautiful. I created a beautiful day today because I allowed the space to invite both of you into my life today.
Yep.
That is creating something beautiful.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be actually physically creating, a
Right.
piece of art, for instance.
right. Sure.
Although that is what I would like
An
to do.
experience.
But, yes,
Right,
but
could
it can be so
experience.
many things. And I think it feels powerful to me for some reason in this moment that using the word beautiful in exchange for good. Name 3 good things that happened today. I don't know why, but name 3 beautiful things today.
Do you think that good versus bad is like, those are judgment words?
That might be
often.
it.
So maybe your attraction to beautiful is that it is different than the typical
Perhaps.
judgment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That really, you might have just hit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
I haven't
sometimes
sat with
too,
it long
like
enough
good,
to figure it out.
right? And I think sometimes good implies like mediocrity. Like good is just it's good.
Oh,
yeah, that's good.
Good, not great.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. I always think like, well, good. Who wants good? You know,
Yeah.
Well, great.
Yeah,
but
right.
yeah,
That might be it. It
I
is
don't
a
know.
judgment word. You're right.
yeah, I think it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Listen to us. Now we have to ponder
Now we all
that.
have to, think about this.
We all
Which
have our
happens
fingers
a
up
lot.
to our
We
mouths,
do,
like,
Yeah.
What in the world? It is interesting.
That is interesting. This is usually where we wrap it up because now we have too much to think about.
I know,
that we
right?
can't go on. Yeah,
Well, and it's
and it's about time.
that time. I also appreciate being here and being in this space with two of my very favorite people, and it is beautiful. The day, it's like there's some people there that I didn't even know, and I was crying.
I know.
I was
Me
listening to
too.
people crying about how they think about themselves.
Mhm. The
It was-
things on their vision boards that
Yes.
were impactful to them that don't really mean
Right.
anything to me, but
Yes.
just the emotion that was there.
Their story,
Yeah. Mhm.
and it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And I think seeing somebody be vulnerable, that's a big deal. Like what a gift
I agree with that.
that they gave you
Yeah.
by trusting you enough to be vulnerable, to share
Yes.
an important thing. An
I
important
think
piece
the
of
more we
themselves.
all can share our stories with people, the more we can like combat that whole idea of what is beautiful,
Mhm.
right? Because when you're sharing like that, what are you thinking about?
Right.
You're really thinking about the soul of that person.
Yes,
Yes, you
That
are.
who that human is, and
Right.
not what.
I didn't look at any of those people and think, well, you should eat a cheeseburger or you
Right.
shouldn't
Right.
eat a cheeseburger, right?
Right.
Not focused on
No.
their weight or their
Right.
shell at all.
You're
No,
learning
you're right.
about them.
You are
Oh,
looking
my
into their
gosh.
soul. That's that. Wowee. I
Yeah,
have
Laurie.
goosebumps.
Me too. You're gonna make me cry again.
That is
We can-
exactly
we do
what
that
that
well,
is.
though, crying.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like taking a shower on the inside.
Oh, that's funny.
All right.
Yeah, that's not my own quote either.
Maybe
That's
so. Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
all right. I probably.
Dr. Edie
Right.
told me that, and I'm just stealing
Nice,
it. But
nice. Maybe we'll have to come back and
It
report on
fits.
the burning. You know,
Oh,
we will.
we
are you
should
going to
do
burn
that.
anything? by the way?
I've been thinking about that. I don't.
I have been thinking about it. I don't journal like you two do. I've
Yeah.
got like a page in this book and a page over here and a couple
Yeah.
here. So I can gather some things up
Yeah.
and burn some pages. I don't want to burn empty books.
Yeah.
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 But I think what I might do is write down some things that I want to let go of.
That's
Sure.
exactly what I was thinking
Oh,
about
yeah.
too. Like I do have a ton of old journals, but I do like to go back periodically
Yeah.
and look at things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily want to burn those. Sometimes it's embarrassing as to where I was in life, but that's who I was.
Sure.
And that's
right?
why I don't
Yep.
keep them, because somebody
Yeah.
will read them and I'll be mortified.
Oh, I don't give a shit. If you're gonna
You
if you're gonna like dive 7 books deep into Lisa garbage,
Go for it.
I guess. But yeah, I mean, I do get embarrassed sometimes where I was, but then I'm also grateful,
Yeah.
right, about where I am
Sure.
now in comparison. So I don't want to, but there are some definite like transformation things that I would like to use this as a point in time to say, I'm done doing that. I'm done with that. I'm done saying that I'm done and not actually being done.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yes.
Right?
So,
I'm going to mean it this time.
Oh, how many times
Right.
have I
No,
said
no,
that?
right?
I know the self-sabotage things that I do. So like it just comes to more authenticity, right? We continue to like
Put
try
your
to
money
uncover,
where your mouth is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uncover the truth of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta write things to burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm
am too.
very excited for this.
Me too.
I am too. It'll be
Please,
fun.
weather gods, please
Yeah.
make it tolerable.
All right. We'll be okay.
Well, what do they say? There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothes or bad,
Right.
bad
You're not ready for it.
preparations or
We'll
something
be
like
all
that.
right.
It'll be all right. It won't be a 6-hour thing.
No, there's not that much. They won't see it all the way like 10 miles
right,
down the road.
right.
They won't
Call
see this
the
big
fire department,
No,
let them know.
Oh no.
Laurie's
won't be
burning her
on-
baggage.
Can we make this a controlled burn, please?
Do we need to notify the authorities before we get started?
Oh, that's funny.
So they're
Have
not
the fire
on alert?
department out just down the road.
That's right.
Just in case.
Right, right.
That is
They might
funny.
use it for practice.
You're right. That's
Oh,
true.
maybe.
Right.
Well, maybe we should. That's funny.
It's not a large box.
I love that it's also in a box. So, like, these things are really contained for you. I've got stuff here. I've got,
Oh,
I've
I
got
put
some
them in
there.
the
I put
box recently.
Oh, you did.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not like
Travel.
that's
Yeah.
just where
Oh,
they
yeah.
go.
Don't
Have
get
baggage,
excited. Don't
have
get
baggage
crazy.
much travel.
No. Yeah, no.
All right. Well, fair enough. But still, I love that it's all in a box and you can just take
ready.
it. And yeah, here's my box of crap that I'm going to let go of now.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I don't need this to, it's the physical image of here's the stuff and I'm setting it down. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
What a conjure
Setting
for
it
you.
free.
Yes.
Yep.
Setting
Yes.
it free.
Right.
Yes.
I'm not carrying it anymore.
Right? Kind of like when I
That.
decided to stop coloring my hair.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Are you going to not ready to let myself go?" I said, "I'm not letting myself go. I'm setting myself free.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't want it anymore.
Right. Right.
I don't want to.
Right.
I'm okay. I'm supposed to
love
be
that.
getting old. I'm someone's grandma.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what happens.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I'm sorry if that, and I'm not telling anyone else to do it.
Right.
No.
Right.
You
That's
do what
fine.
makes you feel
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
But-
Right.
It's like, no, free,
Right.
freeing
For you.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I'm ready.
I love that.
I'm ready for
All
that,
right.
girl.
We'll report back after we're done.
Sounds good.
Crowd goes wild.
All right.
All right.
Let's wrap her up.
All right, wrap her up. Thanks, Todd at Mind Garden Media, for doing our dirty work behind the scenes, for keeping us on track and publishing on a regular basis.
We appreciate you very much.
Absolutely. If you want to do a podcast or even just talk to somebody, just bounce some ideas around. Give them a shout. They're on Facebook. You can find them there. Mind Garden Media.
Yep.
And also, thanks to our listeners. We every week now. Darn it! Oh, I just looked at our stats last week too, and I was gonna write down these new countries that I saw, and I forgot. Gosh, dang it all!
I'll make it a priority
Next
for
time.
next time. Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for being with us from the beginning. We appreciate all of you
do.
very much.
Thank you.
If you are enjoying this podcast, please do like and share. And not like share, but like and share. Smash all the buttons. Do all the things. Tell your friends.
Come back next time.
Absolutely. And come back again.
All right.
Till then.
Bye.
Toodaloo.